Hi, it's Richard here from the Siebel Hub with the first in a short series of videos looking at Levato mobile platform from Air Software Solutions. I'm going to be doing several videos looking at different parts of the solution. Today we'll look at the administrative interface, which you have right in front of you. We'll also look at the relationship between this interface, your Siebel platform, and of course the mobile app. In the second video, we'll look at how you use the customization and configuration possibilities of this administration application to create new objects that the end user can see on their mobile device. Then in the third chapter, we'll also look at one of the neatest features, which is how to build flows graphically. If you're a workflow fan or a task UI fan, this will be one for you. To begin with, though, let's set the scene. I have my administrative interface, and in my administrative interface, I have one or more users. Now, in this environment, there's only me. Each user has an access to a repository. A repository, what is a repository? Well, a repository is a set of Levato views, a set of Levato flows, a particular theme. Basically, you can consider it as a group of objects that gets put in front of a user. As you can see, many of these objects, these views, use account or account opportunity or action. So you can see that these visual elements are related to data coming from the Siebel CRM system. Whether it be a list view or a detail view, from the administration screen, I can add new fields, I can configure existing fields, and I can then deploy that very quickly to either production or staging. As well as the Siebel related objects, you will also see a couple of objects here, one called navigation, one called home screen. So from the same administrative tool, I can configure the home screen of the mobile app. I can add quick links. I can configure how to add an appointment. I can basically customize the initial page that most users will see. What else do I need to show you at this stage? Well, I need to show you the full battery of advanced security settings, such as how to control two-step registration, how to control encryption, offline usage. So all of this is controlled from a single administrative interface. There is a complete and detailed audit log. And still on the left-hand side, I'm going to go to the object definitions. So for those of you who are Siebel Tools guys, this is where we connect our mobile platform to one or more objects that are sitting in Siebel Tools. As you can see, I have a number of objects, and I have the details of the objects, which should sound very familiar because you're looking at fields. Observe in the top right-hand corner, synchronize button, as well as add object definition. So retrieving new metadata or adding new objects to the list of metadata accessible to the Levato application is as simple as clicking a couple of buttons. Always eager to prove that you should do demos live, I'm going to click a button and I'm going to add a new object here. Why don't I add the object called quote? Simply because it's a short word that is easy to type. What's happening in the background is Levato is contacting my Siebel instance and retrieving the metadata about the quote component and its fields, as well as its pick lists, its hierarchical pick lists, and so on. I'm delighted to say it didn't actually take 3 minutes, although it says 3 minutes ago. I took a break while that was happening. If I go to details, I can see that it has recovered the fields, and you'll see that some of the fields are listed as, for example, text or number. I have a select field here. I have a Boolean here. Let's go down and let's see if I can find a currency. There we go. Applicable state. If I drill down, I can see here are the states. So this is not just a single level shallow metadata import. This is everything I need to create a useful visual experience for my users. Talking about visual experience, there will always be parts of the application that are not Siebel metadata based, so I may need to add translations to the wording of the Levato app for different languages, and I can do that right here. My environment is only enabled for ENU. And finally, and this is a really interesting architectural point, is the ability to integrate with other apps, whether it be with Google Maps or indeed with other Oracle products. The way this architecture works, it's so much more open than some that I've seen, which enables us to think ahead of, okay, well, we could use Levato to federate a number of Oracle CX products under a single unified interface. Anyway, we'll dig into some of these obviously in much more detail in another one of our videos. So now comes the moment of truth. For those of you who are thinking this is a canned video, this is actually my phone. So if it starts ringing, it's because, well, someone's ringing me. I'm going to go ahead and click the Levato icon on the home screen, and up comes my application. I want you to notice a couple of things. First of all, this home screen has a bunch of shortcuts, which I'm using my mouse to show you now. And I also have down the left-hand side here a number of icons to access different objects, such as contact, calendar, account, and so on. Let's go back up to cases. Cases is being configured to show me immediately a list of cases. And when I drill down on a case, I get a brief case details. If I go back to the contact button on the left-hand side, you'll see that contact has been configured to show me immediately a search view. So I can search for contacts, and then I will see the list of contacts. And when I see a contact, such as Jolly Brexit, and I drill down on Jolly Brexit, I will see not only, of course, the data, but I will see a UI which includes quick links to LinkedIn and Twitter, Google Maps, email addresses, taking full advantage of what I'd call the traditional built-in device functionality. I also have some shortcuts down here, for example, to look at the activities for this person, and I'll see I have an activity to book a hotel for Vegas, which is a to-do, and I'll drill down on that. Okay, it's a to-do, and I need to book a first-class hotel. Fair enough. Yeah, it's just the kind of guy I am. And I can scroll down here, and I have more objects, and I can log out at the bottom. So these objects, if I go back to case, these were added using the notion of repository and view objects that we spoke about briefly a few moments ago. So building one of these or modifying one of these is really very straightforward. For example, here I have the case details page that I've built, which includes the case number, the description, the priority, and the city. I'm going to, switch right back to my repository. And I'm going to go to my repository and configure, for example, the HLS case detail view. And I'm going to say, okay, I no longer need the city field. Save it. And I'll deploy it to staging. I return to my app. I didn't do anything on the app. I didn't cancel or clear cache. I didn't refresh configuration. I'm going to go to cases. I'm going to go to my first case. And the city has gone. So pushing changes to a staging or a production environment is very quick, very simple, and very straightforward. The options I showed you down here earlier on, just so we're clear, is if I'm doing manual testing, for example, I might need to clear the configuration, I might need to clear the cache, but ultimately the end user doesn't have to worry about that. Returning to my application here on the mobile device, I just want to highlight something that I think is very cool. I've got a contact up on screen, and they have an address, a zip code in California, somewhere near Milpitas actually, so it's actually not very close to Dublin. But if I go ahead and click the map icon, you'll notice that it's the native Maps application of my Windows Mobile. It's not actually opening some kind of Google Maps window or some browser-based window. It's gone ahead and displayed the map in the native mobile device application, which I think is pretty cool. Anyway, let me close this before it starts ringing, and let's just summarize what we saw today. We saw three things, or two things so far. The mobile application, which has a very rapid deployment paradigm. We saw a administrative application, which lets us pull metadata in from Siebel. And of course, the one thing that I didn't show you was the agent sitting on my Siebel implementation, but it's a very small file running under Java. There's nothing to show you on that side, really. It's a case of these are the two parts of the application that once your agent is up and running that you'll need to think about. That's it for this time. We will be back in a few days discussing in more detail how we can build out a customizable and flexible and easy to use user interface. This is Richard signing off for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again soon.